All right, y'all, let's get into the garden because we can learn a lot from the garden. I've been a gardener since 2003 of some way, shape, or form. And before that, we had a garden as a child here and there, or I'd help plant flowers and help do the yard work and that kinds of things. So that kind of love was always put in my heart at an early age. But as an adult, I chose to grow a plant that has the Cross Infinity 3 molecule in it. And this molecule, every human has the receptors for it. And every animal, or mammal, I should say, has the receptors for it. But this plant comes in a male or a female form. And through certain times, when the harvest is late, or when it's a controlled environment and it's all females or those types of things, some things can happen, all right? Or under a lot of heat or a lot of cold or just some stressful environments, okay? When that stress is there for a long time, or like if the light turns on in the middle of darkness and then it turns off again and then turns on again, turns off again, right? These types of environmental conditions, they can cause the male to turn into some female parts, right? Or they can make the female turn into some male parts, okay? So you start getting that hermaphroditic conditions, all right? So with this kinds of things, all right, if you keep a garden of clones of all the same thing, it's a lot easier to take care of. Or if your table is all one genetic, it's a lot easier to take care of because each table or each type of clone, it may need a different nutrient level, okay? So this is where it takes a little bit more work. The living soil, you can put the different clones into the living soil and they will just go as they need to go, okay? So there's a little bit of things going on, and then some require this, that, or the other to get that peak performance and the peak growth or whatever. So the living soil, it just does what it needs to do. You just do the minimal maintenance. The other one, you got to feed, take care of, fresh water. If the water goes bad, the whole garden go down, all kinds of things, okay? This is a mirror for our lives. So with this plant, you can grow it in rock wool, you can grow it in cocoa, you can grow it in peat moss, okay? Each one affects the flavors and terps differently. How you garden it, how you apply stress, what kind of stresses will depend on the effects you get out of that plant and those types of things. So with this, okay, you can have that, just that rock wool cube. Depending on the size of rock wool cube, it will depend on how much water you need to give, or how much nutrient level you need to give, or how often you need to give it, or whatever, okay? Because you don't ever want to dry out, okay? Once it gets too dried out, then you're going to start suffering growth, and your plants can start getting deficiencies and those types of things. You want that rock wool balance, that seed growing in the rock. It needs it needs tender love and care. And if anything goes wrong in that garden, it goes down. And that's kind of where we're at now. We're in that hydroponic garden because the POTUS of Washington, D.C., people that everybody vote for, that's that spiritual wickedness in high places, that POTUS. And that POTUS president is coming down and everything's toxic and the garden's toxic, and that heat of the first day is about to end. And with that heat of the day coming, we got to get ready for the next day in the next garden and cycle or whatever. And in the 2024, that marks the end of that first day. From 24 to the 48th president, that's that second day. So that's where everything gets like crunched into time. 24, 25, 26, those times, that's going to be nutty times. Like, it's all just breaking open now and setting up. So this rock wool, all right, our lives, our homes, we are like that rock wool, all right? Our roots are like that rock wool. And unless we are transplanted and put somewhere else, we're not going to be able to have life beyond what we're shown. And right now, the rock wool cubes, you can put them on top of other rock wool and on top of other rock wool to where it seems like those roots have an infinite mass or an infinite place to grow and go or whatever, but it's still contained within that plastic. It's still contained within those bounds of hallways. Or it may be like the nutrient fed where it's the constant flow of stream, and then or nutrient film, I'm sorry, and then you have the constant stream to where the roots just grow into the stream and it's constant flow or whatever, right? But as soon as that water goes bad, as soon as that algae develops, as soon as that nutrient level gets absorbed, where it takes a constant drip here and there or whatever of this, that, and the other to keep those hydroponic things going, right? So as soon as one of those systems turns off or whatever, sorry garden, all done, you know? So this is where there's benefits to that. You get the little bit faster growth, you get a little faster harvest, those types of things. The leaves may be a little bit more like electric green. They're not like that pure green, or it's like a real dark leathery green. That's not like a natural, but it's not like the green you get from a natural, from a living soil. Okay. So the soil plants, right? Those can be grown in the plastic pots. They have that hot barrier around them that they can't get past. And with that, you can feed some natural organic style amendments, or you can feed some bottle fed amendments that aren't organic. They may be organic based, but they're not organic. All right. That's kind of like your organic processed foods. It's not organic. It's organic based, but it's not organic per se. Okay. And also organic, you don't want to put chlorine into the water. Okay. Because it's going to kill your plants. Same thing with us, okay? We're that living soil system. So chlorine is that gas they made for the bombs. They're putting it into your showers. You all are all breathing it in as you take showers and all these other things, okay? So the pots, okay? These can be done different ways. But if you're in a container, your pot is going to have to be transplanted every now and then because that root mass is going to grow. And that's where you get like that wartime, or when you go through those war times when the roots and stuff and that soil is kind of broken off and it's stressful for the plant for a week or so after. And it takes time to regroup for that growth to start. That's kind of what's going on now. The country, the cherry tree or whatever, that tree that's growing, the forbidden fruit, is going to be plucked up. And that's that replanting process, that transplanting process of America. And with the transplanting process, you see the transplants walking around and those types of things. But as things grow and get reestablished, those transplant shocks and stuff will disappear and will go back into the root system, the closets and such. Okay. So with the pot, all right, there's more advantages with growing with the pot over the rock wool and stuff, right? You're going to get better terps, you're going to get better flavor, depending on if you use cocoa or peat or a mix. That will base flavors on if they last longer or not as long, and all those types of things. The rock wool stuff, if it's not flushed properly, okay, if it doesn't get that detox every now and then, that once a week spectrum, okay? If you're growing hydroponic, to get that maximum flavor and terps and stuff, you got to flush once a week, okay? So every Sunday or Saturday or whatever, you flush once a week. And then that will provide that wonderful essence of flavor and effects and all those things afterwards, okay? And then also if you add a UV light to your garden, a reptile light or whatever, that will increase stickiness and all those things. So as these lights are coming in and adding to the garden or whatever, to the cities or whatever, it's making different spectrums of plants, okay? The neon lights, the LED lights, all those will create different effects in the garden. The living soil system, okay? The roots are able to just do whatever they want. The plant thrives. It's got the maximum amount of terpenes. It has the maximum amount of flavonoids, has the maximum amount of just essence, okay? The maximum amount of cannabinoids and whatever else, all right? So this is the same with your foods. You grow your foods this way, you're going to have maximum amount of flavor. If you've ever grown your own tomato or your own food or whatever, you will know that it tastes better than the organic that you buy at the store. The organic tastes better than the conventional you buy at the store. This conventional store will taste better than that conventional store, and so on, because it depends on what farms they're buying from and how the farm grows and different things. So this is just where you got to test all things and research. I mean, you're eating the food, you're getting sick or whatever, you might as well figure out why. It's something you're putting in your body. You are what you eat, okay? So with this plant, there's 20,000, 25,000 uses, plus all the flavors and whatever else that comes with it. So that's the same with our lives, okay? It seems to go for infinite. And every single seed, every single person is its own individual unique trait. And depending where you grow that seed, depending where you grow that clone, will depend on how it turns out. Will depend on if it's airy, or if it depends on if it's dense, or depend on how much flavor or lack of flavor, or if it's smooth, or if it makes you cough. All kinds of different things, okay? So one plant, one clone, that same clone, grown all around the nation in different cities, it will all be a different single plant in every single garden, okay? That's the same exact how we are. We are all the same. We're all human beings. We're all look the same for the most part, starting out and whatever. But as time grows and goes for us, we grow into what we are, okay? And some of us grow into the world and get lost in the greenhouse, and some of us get lost in the living wild, okay? But the wild lifestyle kind of can replenish itself. The other one needs help from the gardener and needs more maintenance. And if things get too hot or environmental conditions come on or whatever, then you get death and problems in the garden, okay? So this is where if you're living in the city, okay, in that greenhouse, you gotta produce your garden in that living soil system, that raised bed system, to where you have that unlimited microbial life. You're in that raised bed, but you're still in contact with the ground. Your roots, they can grow into forever, and they can also grow past that barrier if need be and grow into the actual soil. All those kinds of things, okay? If you're living in that rock wool style lifestyle or that potted lifestyle from the potus and those types of things, you're not going to be living, okay? And God's given us this world, this life to live. There's a tree of life, okay? And that tree of knowledge of good and evil wants you to keep from living life, okay? And everything is out there for us to explore or not to explore. It's our choice. If we want to try this, that, or the other, we can try this, that, or the other, okay? But as long as you're loving yourself and you're loving others, okay, then you're free to do it. Those are the 2 commandments that Jesus gave. It's so easy, y'all, all right? We'll end it here. Your life is like a box of chocolates.